those who can't join. Hopefully no objections to that. So an update of where we are on the next slide, please. So we have now a total of 36 sites open to recruitment. We've got a few more in workup. I'm not sure. I think QE, you may not be in the 36 yet, but you might be 37 any moment is the latest catch up I had this morning. So that's great. And importantly, we've got over 660 participants randomized into the overall trial overall. And the important thing is we wanted to share the revised sample size with you now. Next slide. If you remember the aim of the trial initially, when we put in the grant and we powered it for purely mortality as our primary outcome at 90 days, we needed 3,700 odd patients overall. We've now been working as we changed our primary outcome from when we put in the grant, but this was always in part of the protocol to increase our power. We changed the primary outcome to include mortality and the recovery over time, which I'll go over in a little bit. But we've been working with the stats team. We knew it gave us more power, and initially thought was, well, we'll just complete the trial with more power. But actually, his recruitment and setup has been a little bit harder than expected. We've now revised the sample size, and that's been reviewed by the Data Monitoring Committee, the Independent Trial Steering Committee, and we've proposed it to the NIHR, and they have provisionally approved it. They said, yes, happy to go ahead. We need now just to see the contract change, etc., in place. But they said, go ahead and implement it and give us the finer details as far as costings and everything like that is concerned. And so we're roughly, as you'll see from the numbers recruited, we're about halfway through the trial now, with over 660 recruited. We are at about the halfway point, which is great, because that large number seemed a long way away. But we're, I think, now confident we're going to deliver a trial, give us the results, and as you'll see, in not too long a time frame. Importantly, just want to point out we are still retaining the 90% power in the study with this reduced sample size. So I thought you might say, well, okay, how can you reduce the sample size and still retain the power? And I just want to illustrate that on the next slide, which, and if you just click it again, Ravi, yeah, perfect. This is now the new primary outcome shown over time. And so what you see here is the proportion of patients in the different states that you can be, obviously you start, everybody coming into the trial is in hospital and in the ICU with sepsis, and they may be on organ support and they may not be on organ support. There is the worst state, which is death, and then there's the good state, which is you get discharged from hospital. This shows that progression over time, so you can see how people progress over time. This is the primary outcome of the trial. When we had it as mortality, it essentially is you just look at the outcome at 90 days, and you counted up the people who are in the purple who had died versus all those in all the other 3 states combined. And that was the analysis. That meant we needed 3,800 patients roughly to answer the question. But it ignored all that information before about how the patients recovered. And so that's why we've got all of this more power, because we're not just looking at the results at the very end, we are analyzing the speed of recovery essentially over time, and all that other information, which is to the left of the figure, adds to that information. So that's how we're able to reduce that sample size and bring it down. I just thought it might be useful for you to understand that we're still well powered. So if we reduce deaths and we speed up recovery, hopefully that is what we can see with our interventions. So next slide, please. So just what that means in terms of the extension, the current recruitment end date on the various systems is for the end of this calendar year, because that fitted within our current funding envelope. With that new sample size and working forward, to show you that on the next slide in a moment, we will get to recruitment, we think, at the end of the summer next year. So 31st of August. We will then obviously need to follow up patients for the 3 months to complete their primary outcome. And then we've allowed some time for cleaning the database, analyzing and reporting. And that's obviously the extension that, as I said, has been provisionally approved by the NIHR. They just now need to sign it off when we revise the costings and the like. So next slide. And this should just show you that recruitment over time. So the sort of purpley bold line is where we're up to. So with the diagnostic and fluid aspects of the trial, we're just over 600 at the end of last month. Recruitment is stayed constant. And you can see we're on a nice constant line. And we think if we continue as we had in the previous 5 or 6 months along the orange line, that brings us to August of next year. With the extra sites coming on board, we've got maybe 6 more to come on board. I think hopefully we might even increase, and we might follow the green dashed line, and that gives us a little bit of leeway. But we should be finishing next summer, so somewhere between 15, 16 months time from where we are now. For the GM-CSF, which is on the next slide, it's just slightly different. It's a much smaller group. Remember, it's in that subset of patients who are sicker, that are either ventilated or receiving 2 organ supports and have the signs of immunosuppression with the persistent lymphopenia. We're aiming now for 400 patients. We are at close to 120 at the moment. It's going to take us longer to get to the 400 patients. We've got the various scenarios there. If we carry on and the current rate is the orange, I think, again, with more sites coming on board, hopefully we can increase it. But you'll see that will take us at least 1 extra year to get there. If you click on the next, Ravi, what we've done is proposed to the NIHR, because obviously that would be quite a long extension, is actually in about 12 months' time, conduct a futility analysis when we're at just over 200. So it could, depending on recruitment rates, it could be 200, 225, something like that, and undertake a futility analysis. If it's clear at that stage, which would be, well, we're already the largest trial of GM-CSF in sepsis in the world. And when we get to over 200 patients, we'll be by some margin the largest trial of GM-CSF in sepsis. We will conduct a futility analysis. If it's clear we're not going to show benefit from the drug, well, we might as well stop then. That would be the plan. We would stop. This will be roughly the time the diagnostic and fluid stopping, and then we would stop overall. If, however, we don't meet futility, then it would suggest there is value in continuing, and the NIHR have agreed they would review a second extension at that time point. We would recost it, have a better time frame of when we finish recruitment. It may be, as I said, about 12 months, and we might continue with the GM-CSF on its own. That's the proposal we put forward. As I said, NIHR were happy with that and said they would review a second variation to contract in 12 months' time. So that's where we wanted to let you know where we are with the update. I know your all sites, and particularly R&D offices, always want to know how long the trial is running for. We obviously don't have the revised contract yet, but we are in the process of submitting that, and hopefully it will be signed off officially very soon. But we've had the provisional go-ahead from them. I think that was all from me. Ravi, is it to you now? Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Tony. The rest of the presentation is just part of our regular study reminders. So we also include these in our monthly newsletters if you receive them. If you're not on the correspondence list, do let us know and we can get you added onto them. So one thing that I think some sites have already gotten in touch with, some of our sites hold the first batch of IMP that will be expiring at the end of this month. We will get in touch with those sites directly with the plan of replenishment. And just a reminder that once we replenish those sites, any expired stock will need to have an IMP destruction log completed, which should be sent to our team to review before that we issue authorization of the destruction. So if this is one of your sites, please don't destroy any IMP until we've reviewed the form. And then as Tony mentioned, and we've mentioned this in a few of our previous webinars, there are some new UK regulations that will come in at the end of this month. So that will be from the 28th of April 2026. There is quite a large update to ICH GCP and the UK clinical trials regulations. We strongly encourage you to complete your new GCP training by the 27th of April 2026. This is because SepTiC is a CTIMP, so the new legislation will apply to the trial. Hopefully you'll have had some reminders from your local R&D departments to complete the training as well, and also encourage your colleagues to do this also. And then I will hand over to Tommy just to discuss a plan about our EISF.
Thanks, Ravi. Just a few reminders regarding the electronic investigator site file, which is essentially a digital version of the site file, which is maintained at the trial location. All our new sites joining the trial are using the EISF on the platform Florence, and so far we have received positive feedback on the system from those that are using it. We are also in the process of transferring existing sites who are currently using paper ISS to the electronic version. So the EISF is a secure, fully validated system that is compliant with ICH GCP and the UK GDPR. So the platform Florence has secure access, it has document version control, and it has a full audit trail. The system allows for remote monitoring, which saves both time and administrative burden. In addition, this is also in line with the greener NHS national ambition, so you can go on the following link to find out more. So the next steps for the EISFs, if you are already using Florence for another trial, please get in touch as we can accept the same training certificate for access to SepTiC, and the transition to Florence for your site will essentially be a little bit quicker. So the EISF will contain all standard study documentation and manuals. Sites will need to upload any localized and site-specific documentation, essentially the same as you would for a paper ISF. The site will select 2 site administrators who will have an additional role of user management, and they can add and remove users to the EISF. All other site staff will be provided with a site user access, and there is a shorter training available for investigators. Once the team training is complete, we will arrange a short EISF activation call, and this will also be an opportunity for the users to go through the features with the SepTiC trial team. If there are any questions regarding the EISF, please feel free to drop us an email. I'm going to pass it on to Paulina, who will go through a couple of reminders about the day 180 visit.
Thanks, Promi. So the EQ5D5L telephone questionnaire, which is completed at the day 180 follow-up, following some on-site visits, please could I remind all sites that this has to be printed out and completed on paper, as the paper version contains the script to read out the telephone conversation. As a monitor, this is also what we use as the source data, and all answers completed on the paper version should be then added into Open Clinica. The completed questionnaire should be filed in your ISF, and please remember to add in the participant ID on the top of the paper questionnaire to avoid any confusion. And then the next webinar will be held on the 18th of May from 11 to 12. And I don't know if we have already sent out a calendar invite. If we have, then you can just join the same link. But if we haven't, we'll send that through as well.
Thanks, Paulina.
Thanks, everybody. Do you want to stop sharing?
Yeah.
And happy to take any questions, comments, queries from anybody about any aspect of the trial, what we've talked about, or if you have something different, now's the time to ask. Put up your electronic hand is easiest, but feel free to write in the chat if you prefer.
Good afternoon. I'm Geraldine from Stoke Mandeville Hospital. I'd just like to ask regarding about the the blood sample, like for the GM-CSF. If there is a delay on it posting, will it affect the results at all? Because I think we have one instance that we've taken the sample on a Friday, and then it wasn't collected by our post, because our post usually collect at 1 o'clock. So the patient was randomized around 3. So I was just like checking if it's going to affect the results at all, if it's been in room temperature for more than like 2 days, for example. Or
David, do you want to answer?
I assume you're talking about the PAX gene tubes that are collected when we do the GM-CSF. They should be okay at room temperature up to 72 hours.
Okay.
So what we do is we'd encourage you to send them. We log when they've been sent, when they've arrived, so we'll be able to look at that.
Okay.
And downstream, we'll be able to exclude them if we think we need to, because they've been out for a longer period of time. But there's always going to be an element of that that's out of your control anyway, even if you think you've posted it quickly.
Yes.
I mean, the post is not under our control. So, but I think most of them should be fine.
Okay.
I mean, if you know you think you missed the post, you can put them in the post box. I've certainly done that on my way home. Not every post box is quite well, but we're in the smaller boxes now, aren't we? So when it was the bigger blue ones, sometimes they didn't always fit in the little slot on every single collection box. But with the newer cardboard boxes, I think they fit in all of them. So I've certainly done that on the way to the train station.
Finish work.
Stick it in, and then you get the evening delivery, as long as you get to go home before 6 o'clock.
All right, thank you.
Any other points? I'm hoping around the new regulations, I presume your own R&D offices are asking for your GCPs to be updated and so on. That's certainly what's happening here locally as well. The NIHR's training is, I think, quite good. It's quite educational. Any points anyone wants to raise? No? So I mentioned you, Birmingham team, as having the green light. When are you starting? I'm just...
So obviously we've still got processes to, we've obviously had the letter about CNC, so we've obviously got to have the SIV, and then we've just got to put a few things in place. Obviously, we don't have any. I don't think we've had the conversation about the site file, the tubes stuff yet. We are, as a team, going through a slight transition at the moment in that our clinical trials coordinator is sadly leaving tomorrow. So I will be without a coordinator until that position is backfilled. So people might just have to bear with me, as I might be a little bit slower, because I myself am also fairly new to the study setup side. So we will get there, but just bear with me.
Yep, understood. No, it's always difficult when people come and go. Yep. But yeah, let us know if there's anything we can do to help. You know,
the only thing I can promise you is we've all done our GCP updates, so we're all compliant. That's a positive.
And I hope for those of you who start with the ESICF, you find it helpful. I mean, that was the plan is that it's supposed to make life easier at sites. Obviously, there's an element of learning at the beginning, but it should help with document control. It's not so bad in this study with a few amendments, but in some of our other platforms where we've had, by definition, you have multiple amendments. This electronic process is supposed to help. I know not every trust is always happy with it, and very conservative about bringing in electronic stuff, but I think it's a big benefit. But hands have gone up, so maybe that's it. Maybe we'll see it. So I'll say Pip, but is it Pip? Is that your whole name, or where have you gone?
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, yeah.
Yeah. So we do use the eSite file for our Romeo study.
Okay.
And it is that, was it Florence? Yeah, it's Florence. So I was just wondering if you're gonna need to do the training again for SepTiC, since you already had training for it, and we have an account.
You're marvelous. You won't need to do it. And
okay, good.
Romeo being run by one of our colleagues at Imperial Bridge, and I didn't know he'd sneaked in and used it as well. But that's the whole point. We were trying to bring it in to make life easier for everybody. So great. I'm glad it's being used.
So can they just attach SepTiC to our site? Maybe. Don't know how it works.
So we can use the same training certificates. We just give you access to the SepTiC space. So that would be different to the Romeo site file. But Linda, if you just send me your training certificates, then we can have a look and make sure we give you the same access.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Will do.
Thank you.
And catering team?
Oh yeah, just a quick one. With the GCP R3 update, do you want copies of everybody that's on the logs, or just the PIs, or anybody's at all?
Oh, I'll ask Ravi, over to you. What do we need?
It's my understanding that everybody needs to do the new GCP training.
We've all done it, but does site want a copy of?
Yes, please. If you could send us just a copy, and then we'll save it in our TMF.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ravi, I'll ask you a question then. Actually, about that is with the ESICF. If you have the ISF at your site and you put in GCP certificate there, does it automatically transfer to the TMF?
No, sadly not. But we can, when we do a monitoring visit, any documents that are in the EISF, we can, as monitors, can send them to the TMF. So that would remove the need for the site team to email us those documents. So it does speed up that process.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, surely, yeah, that struck me as being a big bonus of using electronic stuff is not emailing everything and sending it. I was hoping it would streamline it. Great. Okay. Any other points? Or does everybody want to just go and grab lunch? No, well, the nothing else from us. If you think of anything, well, by all means, raise your hand now. But email us if there's any concerns. And just to say thank you to all of you for the hard work. That constant recruitment line, has been nice and steady for good 6 months now. So with the revised sample size and the agreement with NIHR to confident we'll deliver the trial in just over a year's time. So it's exciting that we're sort of we're on the downhill slope. Maybe once we get over the hump of halfway, we're almost at that halfway spot. So yeah, keep up the good work. Much appreciated, and we will see you in a month's time. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Southend. Okay. I think most people have gone. Thanks, everybody. Cheers.
See you.
Thanks all.